Hey guys, let's get more news about Lakers, but first, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave a like. Lakers lose again as NBA playoff race intensifies. Luka Doncic scored 32 points and LeBron James added 24 and 8 assists for the Lakers, who led 60-58 at halftime. However, Orlando outscored the visitors 34-18 in the third quarter and went on to wrap up a 118-106 victory. Franz Wagner contributed 32 points and 9 assists for the Magic, while Paolo Banchero added 30 points and 7 rebounds. "We look tired," said Lakers coach J.J. Redick. "I don't know what contributes to that. We weren't able to sustain the level of intensity that we started the game with." The Lakers, who have lost 7 of their past 10 games, are fourth in the Western Conference with 11 games of the regular season remaining. The top 8 qualify for the playoffs and they have 8 more wins than the ninth-placed Sacramento Kings. The Magic occupy 8th spot in the Eastern Conference and have 10 games left. Elsewhere on Monday, in a match featuring 2 sides unlikely to make the playoffs, the Dallas Mavericks welcomed Anthony Davis back from injury in a 120-101 victory over the Brooklyn Nets. Davis scored 12 points in 26 minutes as he returned from 6 weeks out with an abductor injury suffered in his first game for Dallas after his trade from the Lakers in exchange for Doncic. Luka Doncic gives blunt assessment of his performance amid Lakers' struggles. "Some of the incredible energy and excitement that surrounded the Los Angeles Lakers following Luka Doncic's quick integration into the mix has dissipated amid a losing stretch, and the superstar knows exactly who is responsible for bringing it back." Speaking after the Lakers fumbled away a winnable game against the Orlando Magic on Monday night, Doncic reflected on the 3-7 stretch Los Angeles is currently on and what needs to happen in order to turn things around. "I think we just got a little bit satisfied," Doncic said. "We can't afford that right now. I think me and Bron think we should be the guys to do that," Doncic said. "That's on me. Obviously, I've got to do better, I've got to talk more. I talked in the first half, then just kind of let my voice down, and I shouldn't do that." One of the more surprising developments as Doncic turned LA into one of the scariest teams in the NBA was the defensive improvement that continued during his acclimation. But that slipped a bit during their recent cold stretch as the Bucks and Magic put up 118 points with an inexplicable 145-point Bulls explosion sandwiched in the middle over the past 3 games. It's not exactly breaking news that Doncic would point to himself and James as the most important elements to get going and lead the way. But he's been recovering from an ankle injury and taking periodic time off while James is working back from a groin injury. This dynamic duo's ability to stay healthy, especially during a long playoff run, will ultimately determine their ceiling. The first weekend of March Madness gave us plenty of quality hoops. There wasn't as much chaos as we're accustomed to, but that just means better matchups in the Sweet 16 and beyond. And, just because there wasn't a lot of chaos, that doesn't mean we weren't treated to plenty of visceral excitement. Maryland freshman Derek Queen delivered the defining moment of the 2025 NCAA tournament to date with an impressive game-winning jumper against Colorado State on Sunday night. We've also witnessed the Duke buzzsaw in full effect, while Arkansas's feel-good run continues after an upset win over Rick Pitino's St. John's in the round of 32. For NBA draft scouts, there has been plenty to chew on through the first few days of March Madness. It can be difficult to weigh the importance of NCAA tournament breakouts against the certainty of a more complete body of work, but players who shine on this stage tend to get rewarded in June. As for those who struggle, well, it's just a harsher spotlight on well-known flaws. Here are the prospects rising and falling ahead of this week's Sweet 16. Derek Queen put Maryland into the Sweet 16 in storybook fashion, sinking a whirling turnaround jumper over a high contest at the buzzer to secure Sunday's 72-71 win over Colorado State. An absolute star moment. And please, don't bring up the traveling nonsense. That is an NBA-level tough shot. the touch and coordination required for a 6'10", 246-pound teenager to bury that jumper is difficult to overstate. Queen has been flipping his preseason narrative all year. He was billed as a throwback big with a questionable defensive projection coming out of Monteverde. Instead, he feels like perhaps the most modern center in the draft. He has been excellent across the board in Maryland's first 2 games. His poise, playmaking vision, and shot-making variety in the frontcourt is unmatched among his positional peers. Don't be shocked if Queen has the Terps dancing deep into March. Should Dan Hurley have taken the Lakers' job? UConn faces uncertain future. It's official, the defending NCAA champion UConn Huskies have been eliminated after a 77-75 loss to number 1 ranked Florida in the round of 32. In a game that remained highly competitive for all 40 minutes, Huskies head coach Dan Hurley delivered more animated reactions than a Disney movie. But in the end, his team's quest for a historic three-peat came to an abrupt halt. This loss officially ends UConn's hopes of becoming the first men's team to win 3 consecutive national titles since UCLA in 1973. While the defeat marks the end of the road for UConn's players, it also raises a major question for Hurley himself: should he have taken the Los Angeles Lakers job? In June 2024, Hurley confirmed that he had engaged in discussions with the Los Angeles Lakers, who were searching for a replacement for Darvin Ham. Many believed he would make the jump to the NBA, especially with the chance to coach LeBron James and one of the league's most storied franchises. However, just 2 weeks later, Hurley turned down the offer, instead signing a 6-year, $50 million contract extension with UConn, passing up nearly $20 million more from the Lakers. His decision was seen as a bold statement, choosing loyalty to the program he had revitalized since 2018 over the allure of coaching at the professional level. Despite losing Donovan Clingan, Stephon Castle, and Cam Spencer to the NBA, UConn was still considered a national title favorite entering the 2024-25 season. After a 4-0 start, the Huskies quickly hit a wall, suffering 3 straight losses in the Maui Invitational, matching their entire loss total from the 2023-24 season in just one tournament. What seemed like a minor stumble at the time turned into a larger issue, as UConn struggled with inconsistency throughout the season. The Huskies finished the regular season 23-10, failing to find their championship form. Their Big East tournament run ended in the semifinals against Creighton, leaving them with one last shot at redemption in the NCAA tournament. However, after their round of 32 exit against Florida, Hurley now faces tough questions about his future. With his championship aspirations crushed, Hurley must decide where he goes from here. Does he stay at UConn, rebuild, and chase another title? Or does he reconsider making the leap to the NBA? Had Hurley accepted the Lakers' offer, he would have been leading a team in the playoff hunt instead of searching for answers after an early March Madness exit. Hindsight is 20/20, but one thing is certain: this debate could have been avoided if he had just said yes to the Lakers. And you, fan? What do you think about Dan Hurley's situation? Write to us in the comments.